Hello there! How are people doing? Let me turn on also Twitch. Okay. Oh, a moment. Okay. Yep, I'm on. How you doing? Okay. Now. Hi, Tinglish. How you doing? So we're starting to get some people in here. Now, before we get started, let's just review one thing. September 5th through 7th. We've got the World Building Festival. I am part of it. I'm just going to be at my regular time, but I just want to highlight the whole thing gets started on Friday. It's 4 to 7 UTC, 12 to 3 Eastern, it's Eastern Daylight Time, but anyway. Which I believe is 11 to 2 Central with a group world building challenge. And there's basically solidly stuff all the way through there. There's probably a few gaps during the night, but like not much. And oh, you're thinking about compounding? That's good. And so of course we're going to have for me, I'm going to just be at my regular time, but we're going to have world building pasta, who is a he's a new channel, and we're gonna do a naming language. Um, I don't know how much I should share about exactly what's going on, but it is a posteriori, which is new for me. It is just a naming language, so we should be able to get a lot of the meat of it done during the 2 hours. Not, I won't say that we'll definitely get like solidly there, but we can get that. But that's what I'm going to be doing, but it goes all the way until like Sunday, late at night. This would be 6 to 8 my time. But there's so much going on. So there'll be a group world building challenge. I'm not on that because I'm not going to be there. Artifexian talking about music, which I'm assuming this means like some ethnomusicology stuff, like building out music theory. But I need to I haven't heard from Edgar about what this is. There's clothing world building. That sounds cool. The biology of Pillar World. And Pillar World is a new world that Madeline is working on for fantasy stories. Naming things in fantasy maps. That's interesting. Illustrations, speed world building, cooking across worlds with Jake and Bib. That's interesting. Then we got, again, the naming language. Neolithic architecture and technology with Hannah Smith and Bib. Conlang intention setting with Miles. Applying economics to world building with McCain and Bib. So Bib Luridian's doing a lot. World building pasta. Models for making and unmaking religion. Here. I know Jake. And then Langtime Studio is going to talk about they've been working on a lot of stuff to finalize Sovala, the board game. And their plan, apparently, as of this one, was to be naming characters. Now, per their last stream, it might not be exactly that, but we'll see. Then there's more biology of Pillar World. There's chariots and a Blender world speed run. More food world building from field to kitchen to table. That's interesting. World building states and other polities. Yeah, okay. Biogeography of Odalu. Pillar world economics with Madeline. Diachronic drafting game. Okay. Let's have a booba and more. That's interesting. A retrospect of the residuum. Language sketches and naming conventions with Langtime Studio. And some final shenanigans, whatever that ends up being. Okay. So, tune in for that. That all starts on Friday. And of course, VODs will be up for everybody's streams. So, if you can't make it to everybody, you've got entertainment for like a year coming from just one weekend. So, that'll be fun. Now, back to our stuff. Let me open up my own stuff here. We were... Yes, so last time we went through and we got the phonemic inventories for day, dawn, and dusk figured out. At least mostly figured out. I'm not 100% sure I have everything right. I have only done the phonemic inventories. I did some notes on phonotactics, but I don't know that the phonotactics changed that significantly. But let's go ahead and get into night. And we're going to do the same method. We're just going to go through, look at my sound changes from the proto... I was going to say proto-draconic. That's not even a word I have that I use for Indecca. But the old Sylvan into the night dialect. And let's see what happens here. So we have a similar gliding rule to what we've had here. So these vowels become glides between two vowels. I don't think that leads to any change because those glides already existed. Wait, right? Yeah, the high vowel, I guess you do add. Okay. I think okay, I'm forgetting that that does lead to this vowel being added to, I believe every dialect has that vowel now. That glide now. The rounded palatal glide. So that is something to keep in mind. And then once again, the uvular nasal gets deleted very early on. Need to check through these before I remove the uvular entirely because I think uvulars might survive in the night dialect a little bit. It's something I'll have to check on. Um. Oh. Oh, no uvular nasal. And then this we can just do this. These it's very annoying to type ejectives in here. So these, every single one became an ejective. It's just a universal thing. I don't want to case with Copilot. I need to remove Copilot. So that happened. Then we're going to go and see. So we got ejectives. We have the same lenition rules that have happened in other ones where you have the nasal vowels and the. So for now, I'll put those down that way for a moment. I say, was I talking about nasals? No, this is just nasals become fricatives and these others become fricatives. Degemination rule happens. We get syllabification. Devoicing of the sonorants. Okay. Now, voiceless vowels do survive in the night dialect. That's something to keep in mind. Now we get palatalization and labialization. Let's just put those in here with this dialect. And that has a slightly different result in this one than in other ones. Okay. We're just doing that. We have this. Now, this is important. So the nasal fricative denasalization. So what happens is the nasals get turned into a nasalized fricative, and then later they become, in day and dawn, those become approximants. They become glides. In the night dialect, they become fricatives. Right? So if we go ama, let's just ama, ana, na, nga. So ava, ada, aja, aga. So there's the point. Because that alternation, because what happens is we've got two different sources, I feel confident in saying that in dusk and night, these voiced fricatives are phonemic. Whereas in day and dawn, I'm not 100% sure. There might be some cases where we'd have to like examine a lot of example words to see if there's like cases where possibly with final vowel deletion they could become phonemic in those ones. It's not that like important here. But and then K affrication. So what we have kya. What does the K become? It becomes cha, right? So we need this. And actually, yeah. Oh, what is that? Yeah, we get cha and ja here. And what did I did do affricates. So we get those. Now we get this diphthong simplification, but the diphthong simplification in night doesn't introduce anything new except okay, we've got a oh, it's oh yeah. We've got an all added. This should be the proper length marker. Okay, I don't know why the length marker looks different on different vowels, but anyway. Well, we got an all. Does that like merge with anything later on? Vowel changes are weirdly limited in this language. Um, we get another K palatalization. Aperture nasally label corneal. I'm not sure what happens there. Because it actually already happens here. I think that this is like a dud rule. This is a silly rule to have. I'm not gonna mess with it. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, just becomes ka. So you have these become distinct because the environment which changes k and g into ch and ja disappears. Um, or rather, like there's coalescence going on, and in addition, you have this situation where the palatalized ka is becoming ka, so you have coexisting cha and ka. There you get this is a minimal pair, right? Um, Now there's not actually minimal pairs for the G and the J, but the overall system will sort of like end up making this like more salient to speakers. So I'm kind of still comfortable calling it phonemic. We could put it in parentheses, but I think that they will be able to differentiate it. Now, retroflex affrication. Tongue curl. Okay. Becomes. Okay. So if we have. Trying to figure out if something is technically an allophone or phoneme does my head in. So the benefit of conlang, the thing that makes it easier in a conlang is you can do what I did and just like invent, oh, okay, if I do this particular historical change, I get a minimal pair here. I get a minimal pair between cha and ka. Cha and ka. So I guess we have to consider that two different phonemes, right? In real languages, when you're analyzing data, you've got to deal with real words, and it's really hard to find minimal pairs. So even though that's like the gold standard, that's the easy thing that you are taught to look for in intro linguistics classes, it's not always 100% reliable to just go off of minimal pairs. Yeah. Yeah, it's a little difficult to keep track of. And I'm sometimes it's okay to leave things ambiguous because in some real languages um there are ambiguities. Apologies for bringing up Chinese again. Oh, but if we look at the phonology of Chinese, now, there is a particular problem in Chinese in determining the status of these palatals. Okay? The ch, ch, and sh. Okay? The problem arises because these are the result of palatalization of both the velars, k, g, g, k, and h, and these coronal affricates, t, d, d, t, and ts. Okay? Both of these contributed to these. So these end up in complementary distribution with these, and also, depending on how you consider the vowel, potentially these retroflexes. So what are you going to call these an allophone of? And there's debate. Tuan Musan actually says, oh, they're an allophone of both these coronals and the velars. And he cites like language games as evidence of that, because there are language games that will transform these into these, but also like these are clearly in complementary distribution with these, because these can occur before the vowel E, these cannot. These occur before the palatal glides, and high vowels and high front vowel exclusively. These do not occur in those environments at all. These do not occur in those environments at all, though. My thought is actually, I consider my own personal thing is to say that they're allophones of the velars, because these are followed by these two series are both followed by what they're called the apical vowels, which I think Wikipedia takes the finals thing, so it doesn't have a vowel chart, but they're represented by non-standard IPA symbols. People sometimes try to standardize them into different IPA symbols, but it's and right? And I just consider those apical vowels to be allophones of the vowel E. And in that case, then these are not actually in complementary distribution, and it would be this. However, reasonable linguists disagree, so Han Yu Pinyin just decided to just give them their own symbols, just for clarity, and just to avoid that. Yeah. So, oh yeah. So in real languages, it can be somewhat ambiguous what the phonemes are. So it's okay if sometimes your own conlang has some ambiguity about these things. And I'm thinking that that's the case for this j phoneme. Within the system, we expect this to be phonemic, but I don't think I have minimal pairs between j and ga. I'd have to double check after we've gone through all the sound changes. So the question kind of becomes, like, is it important to know if this is a phoneme or not for other purposes? It kind of matters to me, because I'm going to do the koineization, and I want to know what everybody can distinguish among these dialects. But at the same time, I think all four of the dialects may be in a similar situation with this particular one. So it might not matter all that much. Anyway, so let's pick up where we left off before I had that rant. Final consonants are deleted. Now this might be where I can get it. So okay, we don't have final consonant deletion. Unstressed voiceless vowels can be deleted. However, there are stressed voiceless vowels that remain. Final desecondarized. It's just removing labialization and palatalization from final consonants. So you don't. And then we do have okay. Okay. So we have to so these no longer are always syllabic again. These no longer are syllabic. And then we have schwa fortition. So our schwas are gone. All right. So this, as I set out for Knight to be the most conservative dialect, and I think I achieved that because look at this vowel system. This vowel system has changed very minimally, which is really weird because vowel systems tend to shift around all over the place. The main thing that changed is we've lost some diphthongs, which I've not notated here. There's also tonogenesis in the other three dialects. No tonogenesis here. This is the only dialect that preserves voiceless vowels as voiceless vowels. This is the only dialect that preserves uvulars at all. It's actually very conservative in a lot of different ways, but it still has realistically changed, in my opinion, because we do get a whole new series of voice fricatives. Do we ever get a voiced uvular? I want to just double check here. Let's no, the voiced uvular. Okay, let me check and see. Yeah, but we do still have a uvular. We still have a uvular stop. This is the only place where we have a uvular stop. Because everywhere else it got merged with other things. So that's an interesting fact about Knight. So we can delete this TBD. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about we're going to come here. We're going to go to koineization. Let me look at get my navigation pane up. We go to koineization. Now, And what we are going to do is I need some way to view all of these tables at once. Oh, yeah. Okay. That works. So, Tinguish, one thing you can consider if it can only occur in like a few places like that, what you want to think about is like, is this the only place where this phoneme shows up? And if so, can you consider it like a marginal phoneme, right? Like if it's occurring in compounds and speakers know that it's a compound, then you could probably say, oh, well, I mean, it's not happening. It's not a what would I say? It's then we're not a compound anymore. Okay, so what I'm going to do, let's. Oh, let me figure out a way to have everything visible to me. So we go, let's grab these phonemic inventories. A very old derivational prefix. Yes, you can just do things. You can just do things conveniently to make things work for you. Okay. So let's think about, so how am I going to, and then I'm just going to put a new Word document. This is not going to be saved. This is just so that I can see everything at once. And then if I can still see stuff, yeah. So let's actually go off of the, By the way, I will make nicer charts eventually. And then we have so let's start with nasal. So M N na. Ah, how could I forget velar? And na. Okay. And so we go here, and we know that night has it. Let's so day, dawn. Okay. Dusk and night all have the M, right? Yeah, dawn, dusk, night. There's no reason. So they all have that. They all have the N. And then I think everybody gets a velar nasal. Velar nasal survives for all four. Why is it? Okay. Let's double check this. Velar. Uvular. And then the retroflex. Let's take a look here. So day no longer has a retro. Let's just delete the retroflex column if it doesn't have any. It doesn't have any retroflexes. Dawn does have retroflexes. Then we go to dusk. Dusk does not have any. Night has retroflexes. So dawn and night. So what I'm doing here is I'm mapping out like what dialects have what sounds, which is going to take me a bit, but just bear with me. Paw, and let's. I'm pretty certain that we have a situation where we have everybody has a P, P is in all four, T is in all four. There's no reason to ever think that that would not happen. K is in all four of them. But again, wait. Some have deleted the retroflexes. So day does not have this retroflex. Dawn does. Dusk does not. Night does. Now we get to the ejective series. So we get let's just we copy from here. Will it be fine? All right. So ejectives, in terms of the ejectives, dawn has them, day does not, dusk does not. So this is dawn and night. When I lay it out here, it's really interesting to me how much. Now, okay, I need to go check the uvulars. Now, dawn. So day does not have uvulars. Dawn does not have uvulars. Dusk does not have any uvulars. Only night has uvulars. So we just say N here and N here. It's actually interesting. Once I lay it out, I didn't realize that I'd done that much of an affinity between dawn and night, because you have two dimensions where they're the only ones that have something. Which is fine. To be clear, I did deliberately give dawn and night things in common. This is not a mistake. It's just surprising to me how like clear it was. The idea was that we would often want to associate dusk with night, right? Just our human things. I wanted to subvert expectations and point out the fact, no, dawn is also connected to night. Dawn is the end of the night and the beginning of the day. Okay? So there are some places where it is affiliated with night. Now we have the voiced stops. It's just the easiest thing is to copy these things from night, and then we go, okay, very easy. Everybody's going to have B, D, and G, right? B, D, and G. Oh, we're going to have B, D, and G. And then the retroflex, again, we have night has it and dawn has it, but nobody else. The retroflex da, okay? Now, and then okay, so moving on to the fricatives. Fricatives are a little bit more complicated. but we'll get that sorted out. So, oh, we need to do affricates. Okay, so affricates are actually kind of complicated. So we have some dialects that have, so this is palatal. We go the palatals and the alveolars. Okay. Now, let's see. Palatals, day, dawn, dusk, and night all have that. So that's one that's all four. Yeah, well, you could make a giant Venn diagram. You know, I could probably do that. I think just keeping it on the table is the easiest thing, though. And then for the t and z only exist in some. They exist in dusk, not in day, and in day. Okay, day and dusk. Again, okay, we've got also an affinity between day and dusk. And I just came up with these abbreviations on the fly. They're not the best, but okay. So that's cool. Let's go get to the fricatives, and I have to. So let's copy from here. Night has a full complement of the voiceless fricative, so we can do that. And I'm gonna have to go through these. So I'm pretty sure everybody has an F, right? F. So right. Theta exists in the day dialect, not in dawn. It does exist in dusk, marginally. Well, day, dusk, and it does exist in the night dialect. And then I guarantee everybody's going to have an S, right? Right? Everybody's got to have an S. There's no way I'm going to have S in some dialects and not in others. Unless I'm just deliberately being weird. Now, the retroflex is not in day. It is in dawn. We lost all retroflexes in dusk, but it does exist in night. So that's the same thing with all the retroflexes. This one, the palatal fricative here, that's in everybody's. Sha, 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 sha. So that's in everybody's. Okay. Now, ha. Velar fricative, ha, 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 ha. Everybody's got a velar fricative. Uvular fricative. So, day, dawn, dusk doesn't have it, but night is the only one that has that. There's a lot of stuff that's only for night. Okay. And then H, I think everybody has an H. H, 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 H. Yes, I do have. I ended up with a contrast between H and H and H in all of these dialects, which is a little bit funny. Now we go to the voiced fricatives. Now, once again, I'm gonna go down here. This is a little bit tricky. So we have it in, so in day, so I'm going to notate it this way. I'm not sure of the phonemicity in day or in dawn. And this is the place where day and dawn have an affinity, is in these fricatives, right? Dusk definitely has it, and night definitely has it. And this the also is in the same situation. I think most of the fricatives are going to be like that. This voiced the. Do we have a Z in anything? We do have a Z. We have a Z in dusk and not in night. Are we 100% sure we don't get a Z somewhere in night? Where does Z come from? And why do I not have it? Let's double check that. So I don't think I actually have Z's in anything. Because how would we get a Z? Where would we get a Z from? S never gets voiced for any reason. Does it? Let me see. Asa. Yeah, S doesn't get voiced. So I don't think we actually have Z's in. Where are we getting a Z in dusk? I want to check and see. Day and dusk. Let me take a quick look at the sound changes. I want to see where I am getting Z. Let's get to the latest version of dusk. So let's see. Do we even have Z in here? Why did I think there would be a Z? Because, so, our Linician rules get us voiced fricatives out of stops and nasals. So, The S, since it only exists. Oh, wait a minute. No, that becomes Allah, right? Wait. Oh, I know what it is. No. So that one, but if we run that through the sound changes for dusk. We run that through, not dusk, but, wait, how am I getting, okay, so we want the dawn sound changes, right? Dawn, let's run it through dawn. And let's try day. Okay. So what's going on here? Why everybody's got retroflex fricatives? I thought that we lost retroflexes in some dialects. Why do you have to do that? Why do you have to group them? I need to double check what's going on here. So retroflexes should disappear. So why is it not? Are are we having a problem? So this so is this not tagged? Is this not tagged properly with features? This should be tongue curl, which means that it should go away. It should it should we should actually lose it here. Right? Why are things not working correctly? Well, let's debug our things. Is it not a cons? Oh, it's not listed in my consonants. Is it? Should be. It's listed. So, oh, wait, but the Z. Oh, this nonsense. Okay. Now, wait a minute. You still don't get a Z that way. Okay, let's see what happens with other ones if I do that. Make sure that this happens properly. Okay, this actually should have retroflexes, so it's not a big deal. Whoop. Error. Ah, okay. That's good. Okay, so we are supposed to get a Z. So it should be consonantal GT strident. That's and we should get it in the consonants list. Apply. As. Okay. Now we're to the bottom of that, okay? And this one, it shouldn't matter. Okay. So, yes, we need to say, so after fixing this, the only Z occurs in dusk. And that's a little bit wild. Okay. I have to do my periodic ban the Twitch spam bot. Okay. So now I understand that. Okay, so but in terms of like the retroflex, again, okay, so this is question mark for dawn. And day doesn't have it. Dusk doesn't have it, but night definitely does have it. Now this zh sound, this I think is in everybody's because of the syllabic thing. Yeah, so everybody's got this zh. And okay, everybody's got that for sure. And then we go over to ra. Okay, ra exists in day. Is this? I think this is only from lenition, so we need to mark that out like that. Ra. And then dusk and night have it. Okay. Then we got liquids. L, 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 L. So everybody's got an L. And then the retroflex R is dawn and night. If I remember right. So dawn has it, night has it, but nobody else has a retroflex because they just lost all the retroflexes. And then that's all the liquids I have. So the glides, W, everybody's got a W. Or, okay, you have a W, you have a W. Let's just double check. Day and dawn. I'm feeling that they shouldn't have W's at all. So nasal fricative gliding. No, okay. Who's the okay, so what happens in dusk? Wah versus nah ma versus ba. Let's check this. Awa, awa, awa. Why did the stress shift there? That's weird. Uh, let's add another syllable here. Auda, avada. Why are you? trying to think if there's something weird about the way. Why is that being tagged as heavy? Neither of those should be heavy. Do we have something weird about there's something funny about what's this? Oh, that's why. What? It's still not doing it. Okay, so I think actually what we're dealing with is this would not ever happen, right? Okay. Wada. Oh, okay. So there is a phonemic distinction there between wa and va, which I'm not sure I wanted that to happen in Dusk. Okay. All right. Vada. Okay. Still confused as to why that doesn't get deleted. Okay. There we go. Make sure everybody has. Okay. Fix that. However, I have realized that everybody ended up with a distinction between W and the and V, and I actually want that to not be the case. So I'm going to do a quick thing. Let's actually do. And so, what is the thing that unites the W? Actually, I don't think I can do that because this is going to be weird for that. Yeah, I don't really have the right conditions to do that. To have the VW confusion, which is interesting. Because, I mean, no, Chinese has this glide. And it has VW confusion. We can do VW confusion, but we can't really merge the... I guess if we say this is structure preserving, then yes, we can do that. So, the only way we're going to be able to do that, though, is we're going to just do it straight up, except right after a consonant. And then exactly the same rule for ya. And then, do we want that to happen in night as well? I think I wanted it to be for both of them would end up with this happening. And in that case, then we end up with only day and dawn have this as a distinct thing. DS and night will have it as an allophone. And the same is true for palatal ya. And then everybody just straight up has this one. I'll just delete these. Okay, so that's the consonants. Let's quickly get the vowels sorted out. So who has the most vowels? So day, dawn, dusk. Night has the most vowels still. Let's go. Vowels are going to be a pain. So everybody is going to have the E vowel and the A vowel. Oh, not everybody has the A vowel. Everybody's got an ooh, right? Everybody's got an ooh. And then A and O. A is in dusk and night. But not in day and dawn. So this is not super important. But we will notate that we have this in day and dawn. Now, the long A this does not exist in day, does not exist in dawn, does exist in dusk, and it does exist in night. I thought we were close to, and then E, not in day. It's in dawn. And I'm going to make sure that we say dawn also has this, which is super weird. We're not going to distinguish that anywhere else. This is not in dusk, but it is in night. Vowels are a bit more chaotic. Let's go. We have. This is in day. This one is not in day, but we have the short version is in day. And then, okay, I'll just do like one cell at a time. Let's finish out the whole cell. DW. DS. Yes. Okay. Dawn. Dawn does not have any long high front vowels. Okay. DS. And then finally, night only has the long. And then it has these as allophonic. I think. Vowels have become very complicated. And this is in night. Okay. Now the ash. Who has ash? Day does not have ash. Dawn has ash. Dusk does not. Night has it. Okay. Central vowels. We do not have. Okay. A schwa still exists in dawn, in day. Let me just double check here. So, schwa, the schwa fortition, what happens is the schwa becomes, it assimilates to the previous vowel, except when there's a schwa there. And then all the remaining schwas go to ah. So there is no schwa there. There's no schwa. Now, we've got day as this. It's lovely that I have 4 people watching me do just like tedious nonsense like this. Okay, wait. Okay, so no. Day and dawn. And then, okay. Okay. Now let's just double check here. So we've got day has a distinction between the just the relaxing involved. Dawn has only that, and night has wait. Dusk has only that. Dawn actually does not have the long version, the short version. It only has the short version. And then we go to night. Night has everything. Okay. Now we'll go up. Day has this is a weird one to do. Oh. Dawn has that. Dusk has just this. And then night has and then we go up here. Day does not have that. Dawn does. And night does. Okay, so this is the next phase of this is to figure out like so if we choose so let's go with uh We need to have green. So anything that's in all four dialects, I'm going to color green. These ones will definitely be found in the final. Okay. And we'll figure out that in a second here. And this is not actually. This is not actually in here because we changed that. The vowels are going to require a different method because there's going to be more merger stuff. These ones that only occur in one, I'm going to color orange because that's what I have. And then those are going to have to be adapted one way or another. Things that occur. Okay, this is all four. Oh, this one is the green. Things that occur in only two. Let's color that purpley. And things that are in three or that have like allophonic status in some, we'll make those blue. So if we look at our consonant chart, copy this here and go down to here, we can basically eliminate anything that only occurs in one. And from there, we got some decisions to make. Now, retroflexes are going to be hard. When we are talking about this, it's not just enough to say, oh, one dialect doesn't have this, they're not going to be able to perceive it, therefore it doesn't work. No, 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 no. So let's take a look at the things that are shared by dawn and night, huh? So we've got retroflexes here. And then we've got these adjectives, right? Now, the thing about this is adjectives. Now, the retroflexes may actually be difficult for some people. If you do not have retroflexes in your language, you are kind of likely to adapt them. You know, this is something that makes sense, right? I'm comfortable with eliminating retroflexes. However, so if we delete this column, however, adjectives are different. So something you need to think about is like how far away, like acoustically, and how far away acoustically are your sounds from the distinctions that people already make. Now, if we were talking about a language that had a three-way distinction, aspirated, plain, and voiced, then yeah, definitely you're going to have mergers if it goes to a two-way system, right? That happens all the time. Okay, it's like if English loans words from Thai, I expect the plain and or it's going to be like by orthography. Usually, the plain and aspirated would be merged together, even though auditorily, if people hear it, they're going to merge the plain and the voiced because of the way that English works. With adjectives, there is enough of a difference because that I think most people will keep adjectives as salient. So, you know, when these other dialects don't have adjectives, they've lost the adjectives, right? But when they hear an adjective, it's not really like other laryngeal settings they have, right? It's not, they don't have anything glottal to compare it to. So they aren't going to merge it with something else. And they hear it and they go, pa, pa. They hear pa, ta, ah. That's very noticeable. Pa, ta, ah. So I'm going to say adjectives survive because of that extra salience. Going with a similar tack, so what this means is if you get words that come from dawn or night that have adjectives, those adjectives will remain. A similar thing to think about is like, do we want to say that these, and I'm a little bit on the fence about this because so they have s and sh, right? We're losing the z, although we know that dusk speakers can distinguish z. So we could have that happen. I'm going to say I'm gonna think I think that's gonna be a patron vote. Okay. Because I think I could go either way. Either we lose ts and z, right? Or we keep ch, or we and merge them with ch and ja, or we keep them and they exist only in day and dusk words. That will be a good way to identify that. Now, on to fricatives. Normally, I would say just lose theta entirely because theta is going to be just weird, right? However, we have 3 dialects that have a theta. And I think we can put a little asterisk here and say only because dusk has the, like, let's see, what happens to theta in day? Wait, day does not have theta. Yeah, day does not have theta. I was being dumb. Okay. Day does not have theta. So actually this should be a purple. What's going on? Why are you doing that? Yeah. Okay. So theta, but I still feel artistically that it is useful to have theta to distinguish dusk and night words from other words. So I'm gonna kind of say, like, normally I would say, no, merge it with D, merge it with T, merge it with S. Nobody's gonna notice it. But I'm gonna say what we're gonna do is we'll put a little asterisk and we'll say only initial theta gets remains. And something we can do down the road with that is, okay, day and dawn don't have theta, but maybe we end up sometimes with hypercorrection of words that they know come from the dusk or night dialects that have an S at the beginning, they'll turn it into a theta, or have an H at the beginning, they turn it into a theta. If we ever get, I don't know if we get initial H's, but yeah. The W and yeah semi-glides, I think those just disappear. Unless we want to, maybe we can have a vote on that too. The thing about it is, like, WV confusion is super common. WV confusion is super common. And like, maybe you could have a hypercorrection situation there too. But I definitely am going to keep these. Now, let's talk about these vowels, because this is going to be wild. One thing that we're seeing here is that the length distinction is really complicated. I think that the first thing we're going to do is we're going to eliminate these. Night only has them as an allophone. Day has them, but like, dusk and dawn are going to be kind of dominant. So I think we can sort of discount distinctions that only are occurring in day, right? So we can have that, we can eliminate that. The other thing that we can think about is, okay, only night has a long O, right? We'll have to think, and only dawn has this vowel, which can be replaced with a Now, if we lose length distinctions, then we get a lot more of this like working together. And I think that we can lose length distinctions. Right? We'll end up with all of this. And then these only occur in day and night. The twilight dialects are dominant, so we just kind of lose that O. We will figure out later on I think that also losing this is not a big deal because these two are not, and I don't think either of these actually none of these actually distinguish the A from the E. So we can sort of have it, it's like an E. Again, I've said before, it's not a huge deal. And then if we remove length distinction here, then we're good. We can also remove, I think I want to keep the U. The U will be like a diagnostic feature of dawn and night. Again. I'm not so sure of. Let's like highlight that. Highlight the A. I'm going to also highlight this and this. And I'm going to highlight these because we're going to be thinking about those while I'm sort of on a break. But we can delete this length distinction and everybody's got an ah. Now this aw vowel, this one, I think that this is going to merge with this so that we end up with just one back non-high rounded vowel. That's what happens in English. I think it makes sense to happen here. And then we end up with a much simpler it's a much simpler vowel system. It's just, okay, it's like, it's 5 vowels plus 2 or 3. Okay. Which is much smaller than the more complex one. Okay. Now, I want to make sure that this can be seen, all of the things can be seen here. Okay. This is where I'm at with this right now. And then I think I'm going to do several votes, maybe spread them across Blue Sky and the Patreon, and decide on these things that are highlighted. But we got a long time before we return to the koineization stuff because we've got the World Building Festival, and then after that, I'm going to do a draw steel thing because there's going to be a lot of new people, and I want to do like something that's not so deep in the weeds. So I'm going to go to Draconic. I'm going to do incantations for draw steel. I think translations can be like an accessible entry for people. And then I have another thing coming up the next week that'll take up the stream. So we got like 3 weeks to work out these issues, and then we're going to dive into our koineization and do stuff. So let me Um, I have to. So I want to. I want to. Silva notes. I want to make this a PDF and thank you, Kat. This is the language that I'm most proud of, just because I've done so much extra work with these 4 dialects, and I'm doing this new koineization stage. It's definitely a lot of extra work, but I think it's going to pay off. Let me export all of my lexergies so I can update those. I don't want to, so I do this so that I don't forget. So and we need to get an attachment going, and there it is, and we can just go ahead and publish that. I need to make preview images for my different categories of things so that it's a little bit more attractive. And then the last thing is to go to my downloads. This is my very, very this is my very, very weak version control system. I am not a developer. You guys can see that, so I don't. Day 9, and this would be dawn. Eight. And then dusk. Dusk. 12. And then okay, just go away. Okay. And then night 9. Okay. All right, guys. Well, that's all for me. Everybody,